Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Last week here in the States, we had a huge announcement that we are getting some form of a student debt relief program ranging from 10 to 20K. Of course, some people say, hey, this is not enough. And the other people say, this is absolutely absurd if you're not fixing the root of the problem. In this video, I am here to not debate whether it was good or bad, but to merely just tell my story, my college dropout story, and if it just helps one of you guys out there, well, hey, that is a win in my book. I've told snippets of the story on different podcasts. Wiped out my bank account for one semester, you know, and I'm not saying college is stupid. I also hated electrical engineering, so I was like, I want to try something new. But I figured it'd be good to just have it in one clean video. And for my audience that is outside of the United States of America, this probably won't make that much sense to you. Like this person on Instagram who said, I don't think about it much. It costs me only 250 euros per semester to try things out. Cool. It's a little bit more complicated here. If you want a good explainer on where things went really, really wrong, I'll link an episode of The Patriot Act by Hassan Minhaj down in the description below. He goes into detail about predatory loan companies and government and all of these things. Okay, college dropout. Sara Dietschy rhymes with peachy, that's me. Hi, how are you? I graduated high school in 2012 and all of that college pressure started around my junior year of high school when you start taking the SATs, the ACTs, you start figuring, am I gonna graduate in the top 10% and all of that jazz. And it's crazy, a decade later, yes, I'm aging myself, that this is still such a taboo subject, not going to college, going to a certain college, going to a trade school, community, blah, 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 blah. And there is still so much pressure from parents, from grandparents, from family that are causing people to go into crazy debt. So I definitely felt that pressure, and for me, it was just the next step. All of my friends, everyone's going to college, so I have to go to college. I feel like I had a pretty normal upbringing, whatever the heck that means. I grew up middle class. My dad went to work. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And they made it pretty obvious early on, like, hey, Sara, do well in high school because you have a little money saved over in a college savings account, but it's not gonna be enough. I liked math and science better than the other subjects.
Is math related to science?
So I saw that as a way to, get a responsible degree, you know? So I must pick a responsible degree, right? But I had enough self-awareness that I knew I did not have enough patience, or honestly, I don't think I was smart enough to be a doctor or a lawyer. But hey, engineering, that's responsible. And I saw a local college, University of Texas at Arlington, had these engineering scholarships. So we kind of like work backwards from the scholarships. I was gonna stay at home to save money, and hey, look at this. Okay, mechanical engineering, they have this scholarship. Electrical engineering, hey, if I fit into this category of a certain ACT score, I graduate top 10%, I could get a full scholarship, hey. And that kind of became my North Star as I headed into senior year. I still entertained kind of these fancier out-of-state colleges, but it was one of those things where I didn't have the money to spend $30,000 a year going to some cool college in Colorado with mountains around it. I understand it's tempting. You know, people always use the lazy river thing, like, oh, people are going to colleges with lazy rivers now and it's freaking Disney World. That's why it's so expensive. And it's true.
This isn't Turks and Caicos. It's Lubbock, Texas.
When you're an 18-year-old kid looking at that, you're like, I want to live in a resort every day. I understand. So shout out to my parents for always bringing me back down to earth. Man, I will never forget this moment. The morning that my mom woke me up super early in the morning, it was like 6 a.m. She ran into my bedroom. She's like, Sara, guess what? I was like, what, woman? Why are you waking me up? And she had my ACT score. It was the second or third time that I had taken it, and I had gotten a 30 on my ACT, which almost guaranteed this scholarship. For me, that was like awesome. That was like solidifying what I thought was the next 4 years of my life, being a responsible electrical engineering undergrad and gonna move on and get a good job and be a productive member of society. And then I turned out to be a YouTuber. Hopefully I'm still a productive, functioning member of society. Double E, UTA. Here I go, college experience, still living at home, pursuing video, creative stuff on the side, but I was pretty focused on school, maintain that 3.5 GPA. It was awful. Okay, so very quickly, I was miserable. I was falling asleep in class. I feel like it's such a shame. You get these students who are so excited to learn, and then I'm spending half of my time in these general English and history and blah, blah, blah classes. I already got all of that in high school. And so I was just so burnt out by the time that I got there, and the fact I was still doing the things that I hate was torture to me. And then the electrical engineering classes that I had, they were just nails on the chalkboard. The professors that I had, they were so clearly checked out. Like, they got tenure, check. They show up exhausted. They themselves are half asleep. And I was like, this isn't, so why should I have to stay awake in this class? And I think what was super disappointing is I expected college to be different. I thought we were gonna, have a project and maybe work backwards, right? And it was just not that. But hey, I have my scholarship, heads down, let's go for it. I think the only thing that was carrying me on is like on the side, I had like a social media internship, I was getting paid $12 an hour, hey-o. I also had an internship at a local electronics shop. That was super cool. I was able to be next to a guy who was fixing guitar amps and electric pedals and pianos. And I was obsessed with music at the time. So it expedited that process of like, oh, I actually don't care what's going on in the inside. I just like playing guitar and talking to people in forums about what electric guitar pedal is better. And I'm just a gearhead. But all of those things that I was doing on the side was going to later inform my decision to drop out, years in the future. Okay, so let's fast forward 2 years. I'm miserable. It goes from falling asleep in class to now not even showing up in class, to only reading the required material I need and studying on my own and leaning on people in my classes to help me and like, hey, can you give me your notes? Sorry I wasn't there. And year 3, I was not gonna have that scholarship anymore because I did not maintain that 3.5 GPA. And so it kind of gave me an out right there. But still, I was worried about what people thought about me, what were my parents going to think about me. I started to do some road trips and a little bit of traveling, and all I knew, my little slither of hope was, hey, I have some friends and I really enjoyed Nashville. So I want to move out of my parents' house for the first time at the age of 20, move to Nashville. And then my parents were like, well, you're gonna find a college there, right? You gotta finish college. So I was like, fine. And so I landed on, it seems super random, but this college called Belmont in the middle of Nashville, Tennessee, because music was still a big part of my life and that was kind of the music school, but I was still gonna do the responsible degree. So I actually switched from electrical engineering to computer science. So here I am, I'm gonna move to Nashville and I'm going to go to an out-of-state private college. So someone asked the question, what solidified you dropping out? Like, what was the moment? And Belmont. When you have a bank account with $15,000 and then you see that money leave that bank account for the education that you're about to get in this one semester, there's a lot of pressure on what you're gonna be learning this next semester. And let me tell you what, it did not live up. Blame that on me for pursuing a comp sci degree at like a music school? Fair. But it was so bad. Like, why am I worried about Boolean algebra? Why do I need to worry about actually how the computer computes ones and zeros and adding and multiplying, blah, blah, blah. It was. And a quick side note about a computer science degree. I didn't learn this until after, which is crazy because isn't this the reason why counselors exist? But you have these 17, 18-year-olds making the biggest decisions of their lives, going into debt for tens of thousands of dollars. And guess what? You should help inform them a little bit about what degrees entail. So if you actually want practical experience when it comes to coding, either completely forget about a college degree, maybe start out with a coding boot camp or something, or if you want to go the college route, a computer science degree is way more theoretical. I did not know that at the time. It's more studying the hows and the whys, and like, I don't care. I just want to learn how to code, right? If you're more into that building, a software engineering degree is more technical, is going to be more practical. Someone on Instagram commented this. Yeah, college has a way of taking something you're interested in and love and making you absolutely hate it. I remember the day I was so stoked when we finally turned in the textbook for the day and actually got on a computer and started learning Python. Wow, I was like, oh wow, I'm glad this only took us a couple years, guys. And so as you can imagine, I was looking around and I was being like, I paid $15,000 for this. What is happening? I did one thing that really solidified the decision that I'm going to tell you about after we just talk about Squarespace for just a minute, guys. Oh my gosh, my pin perfectly matches my Lab 22 blue color nails. Look at that. Anyways, Squarespace. Hey, are you a creative who needs to build your portfolio? Maybe you are at a fork in the road, what we are talking about now. Should you do this thing over here, or should you invest in yourself, invest in your creativity, and make the leap in having a creative career? Well, hey, you need a portfolio, and Squarespace is the perfect place to do that. So whether you need that creative portfolio or you're running an online business, Squarespace has award-winning templates that will help you do that in only minutes. It is so easy to set up, and they have so many amazing third-party integrations that make selling physical or digital goods really easy. I actually have an idea, and you guys can let me know if you like it or not. I want to do like mini courses because I do not have the attention span to sit down and make a full-on course that I feel like is worth paying the money that people pay courses for. But I'm like, ooh, I feel like I could do one-off costs, like under $100 mini courses that are just super quick and effective in teaching you something really niche, like something like the Sony FX camera, or making a killer teleprompter setup, or how to set up a Synology NAS and work with remote video editors, something like that. And Squarespace actually has a way to do that. Not only do they have their membership area where you can charge a monthly fee, kind of like Patreon, but you can also, and I just learned this, you can do one-off digital products. So like a course, you can just sell a course. And so it's going to be a smaller fee and you have complete control because it's on your website, not like some random third party, right? And I was like, holy cow, Squarespace is just crushing the game. They're doing so many things. They help you with SEO. You can run your email list directly from your Squarespace website. The options are endless. So hey, if that kind of gets some ideas going, you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And if you want to get started today, you go to squarespace.com/Sara Dietschy, that's me, for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website. Okay, dropout time. Dropout time. Okay, so it all came down to one thing, and I just did a cost-benefit analysis. What do I get if I stay here for another year and a half and I finish out my degree? So I had an extra year because I switched degrees. But on the flip side, what could I do with that year and a half if I just went for it? I had some side video jobs at an agency with video. I had 4,000 YouTube subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I know it sounds silly, but even with that small amount on my YouTube, I felt some momentum and I could maintain some wedding jobs, some random agency jobs to pay that rent in Nashville. I ran out of money, so that obviously had a huge influence on my decision. And I just had to say, look, Sara, do you either go into debt for something you hate, something that is kind of your plan B, right? Or do you not go into debt, kind of just start from zero, but you're actually living out your plan A. You are pursuing something that you are so crazy passionate about that you are doing it in secret, in the back, in your classes, editing videos, staying up late at night. And I feel like I had already built up so much momentum that I was actually more scared of losing out on that year and a half, on how far I could go with that year and a half with my passion, with video, than I was with the safe route. And again, money. I balanced those out and I was like, dang, plan A. I'm going with plan A. And so publicly I told my parents and some of my family, and there was some disappointment, but I told them I could always go back. I'm just gonna give this a try, right? But in the back of my head, I was like, I am never going back. All of my chips are in this basket, so I literally do not have an option to fail. It was not an option. And so I dropped out, and ooh, did I get to work. There was a fire underneath my bum. And in the next year, I got something called the Adobe Creative Residency that allowed me to just create for a year with a salary. I'll link a video in the description below about that. I made a viral video that allowed me to go from 4,000 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers. And you know, in the past 5 years prior to that though, I was doing those side videos, I was making docuseries, I was doing camera reviews. So when people found my channel from that viral video, they had something to watch. I moved to New York City, I pursued YouTube full-time, and I have never looked back. I'm hoping there's some new people watching this, and if you've never seen me before, I just have one thing to say to you, and that is, this is your decision. This is your life. This is not your parents' life. Your parents aren't gonna have to figure out how to get a job after college. This is you. For the people whose parents are paying for 4 years of college, congratulations. I don't have a ton of things to say to you. I guess take the 4-year vacation and just figure out what you like. But for the people where this is all on you, this is not something that you just kick the can down the road. I'll worry about the debt 4 years from now. I'm just gonna delay getting a job. I just wanna go to the school where my friends are. If that school costs $40,000 a year, what? No. When I asked about this on Instagram, I got a lot of like actually practical questions of like, Sarah, well, what is the answer? A state school versus out-of-state school versus trade school versus community college. And I will say, if you do not know at all what you want to do in life, community college is a great option. There are still some really affordable options out there. You're gonna be able to dabble in different degrees, and maybe that will help inform a later decision if you wanna finish out your degree at a in-state college later on. Don't go to an out-of-state college like Oklahoma University or University of Arkansas or some because they have a good football team. Why does that matter if you're paying $40,000, $50,000 a year? You can party with other college-age kids if you just want to party as an extracurricular activity. You can still do that. So 100%, if you don't know what to do, or maybe you have like a trade that you want to do, trade school, community college, a cheaper in-state college, and stay at home. I really think all of these colleges in the middle are just completely useless, and I think they're kind of a scam, okay? You know what, they are a scam. The top of the top colleges, you know, you have those name brands like Harvard, Columbia, Princeton, whatever. Those always have the brand recognition. They're the top of the top for a reason. Even if you go and get the most useless degree there, you're probably going to be surrounded by very smart people that will later in life probably help you out with job opportunities or give you a good network of people, okay? But those are maybe like 10 colleges at the top that you're paying a lot of money for that name and for the piece of paper, which I understand. Personally, I think they're the worst. I think they're just wealth management funds, like hedge funds wrapped into the side thing that they do, teach courses to kids. But I get it, I get the name, okay? Then you have trade schools, community colleges, in-state schools, and then everything in the middle is useless. And then if you actually have an idea of what you want to do, get an internship, get an apprenticeship. People want to hire you. If you are a competent human, people want to hire you. Trust me, as someone who hires people, those opportunities are out there. And of course, I didn't preface a lot of this of like, if you're an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor, of course you're gonna need college and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like that's a given nowadays. Oh God, now I'm gonna have so many comments down below of being like, well, Sarah, blah, 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 blah. And so yeah, okay, so that is what I have to say about college. Now, I'm never gonna tell this story ever again. I'm just gonna point to this video, and hopefully this gives you the little nudge you need in whatever direction that is, because this sounds crazy, but you know, when I was second year in college, it didn't occur to me that I could just drop out, because it was still, again, still a little taboo. I was watching a video, Gary Vee out of all the people said it, but he just said, well, yeah, you don't have to go to college though. And I was like, well, I never thought about that. And so maybe I can be that for some people, but maybe I could be that, oh, well, I could just go to community college. Oh, I could just go to a trade school. Oh, I get internship, apprenticeship, etc. So please, angry parents, understand where I'm coming from. Please don't send me angry emails. Okay, so thank you for sticking around. Let me know if you like this video. Smash that like and subscribe button. And everyone, if you supported Lab 22 or if you just watched this video, just a huge thank you from me. You know, I make videos, I see a number on a screen and you don't really connect with it, but there's those special moments where you're like, wow, there's people actually watching out there. So thank you. Check out my Squarespace link in the description below if you want to build your creative portfolio right now. If you want to take that step, do it. Links in the description below. You got one life to live, guys. So live it your way. That was kind of cheesy. I don't know. Stay peachy. Okay, bye.